YouTube, what's going on? Kevin, the Tech Ninja here. And today we're taking a look at the Galaxy Note 9 and we're gonna compare it to the OnePlus 6. Is it really worth that much more money is the question we're going to answer today. The OnePlus 6 runs at $529 starting, while the Galaxy Note 9 starts at $1,000. What do you get for those extra dollars? And is it worth those extra dollars? Let's find out. Okay, let's begin with the screen. We have the Note screen coming in at 6.4 inches, while the OnePlus 6 comes in at 6.3 inches. The OnePlus 6 is a 1080p screen, while the Note 9 is Quad HD 1440p. Now both screens are AMOLED, while Samsung says it's Super AMOLED, which I don't know what that means, but they both use AMOLED technology. So you see these blacks, they are like super black. The pixels actually turn off and you actually get better battery life due to that. And that's like really good screen tech. So the OnePlus has that and so does the Note 9. Another cool stat is screen to body ratio. So out of this body of the phone, how much of it is actually screen? And surprisingly enough, OnePlus edged out the Note 9. OnePlus gives you 83.81%, while Samsung gives you 83.51%. It's not a big deal, but it's nice to see that OnePlus actually made this phone as thin as possible and also not that many bezels. And this leads us to the whole thing that everyone's gonna talk about is the notch. So love it or hate it, phones are gonna have notches, and OnePlus actually has a notch. It's not really a big deal to me. While Samsung does keep the bezels as small as possible, OnePlus is actually getting that screen to body ratio because they added a notch. So one of those things, you'd rather have the smaller bezels or you'd rather have a notch to push the bezels out even further. All right, so on the actual build of the phones, as I said, the Note is a little bit taller. It's also a little bit thicker too. But the Note does have a couple more things. So obviously the Note has the S Pen, which you just tap here at the bottom and you can just slide the pen right out. And the S Pen adds extra functionality, like you can write on the screens, you can do all sorts of different S Pen things. So if you know anything about the Note, you know what the S Pen can do. And also I'll cover the S Pen in a full video, but it does have that functionality right here. Also has a bigger battery. It has 4,000 milliamp battery. And while the OnePlus 6 has a 3,300 milliamp battery. In my actual usage, while I've only been using the Note 9, I'll say for a couple of days, and the OnePlus I've been using for over a month, I would say that the Note 9's battery life for me and my usage is about a day and 3/4 versus the OnePlus, which is about a day and a half, maybe a little less than that. And I've been using the Note 9 a ton during this time I've had the phone. So it will actually probably get better as I use the phone less and less, but that larger battery does make a huge difference. So flipping it around to the back, as you can see, both devices are made of glass, and glass is a fingerprint magnet. I just wiped these phones off and they already have fingerprints on them again. Nothing I can do about it, but both phones are glass. And with glass, you get a couple of good things. Well, one thing that I like the most is wireless charging. OnePlus does not give you wireless charging, while Samsung gives you wireless charging, plus fast wireless charging, which is really nice because I like wireless chargers. Slap them wherever I'm at, bedroom, office, anything like that, and you get a pretty fast charge. Speaking of charge, OnePlus has the fastest charging, which is dash charging. I believe, don't quote me if I'm wrong, this is YouTube, you will quote me when I'm wrong, but I do believe in 30 minutes you get around 60% of battery. It's very fast, while this is using quick charge 2.0, I believe, which is kind of behind when it comes to fast charging, but I prefer wireless charging over fast charging just because I'll be charging throughout the day, but being able to plug your phone in just for a few minutes before you go out to boost it up, to top it off, is really nice on OnePlus's part. Now both phones do have the same processor in it, the Snapdragon 845, also the Adreno 630 GPU. And Samsung starts off at 512 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and like I said, that is $1,000. So on the back of the devices, we're looking at the cameras here. Both phones utilize the dual camera technology, which is what you're gonna see from now on. That's just kind of like the new thing now, the dual cameras. So OnePlus actually has their camera at 16 megapixels. at f1.7, while Samsung's camera is 12 megapixels at f1.4 through 2.4, just depending on which lens you use. They both have the 2x zoom, so you're taking a picture of something, you hit 2x zoom, you get closer to the subject. And overall, the Samsung images just look better to me. OnePlus camera is really good. It's actually gotten a lot better since it came out. There's been tons of updates. Actually just got an update today. Software processing and just the software suite alone is better on Samsung's devices. OnePlus on the front, actually OnePlus does give you a 16 megapixel front-facing camera, which is really good. It's gotten better with updates and it's really good. Samsung is still 8 megapixels and it's not great by any means. But it's still good enough to be passable. But when you compare it to like Pixel or any of those guys like that, iPhone, then you could definitely see its downfalls, but it's still enough to be better than OnePlus's. But OnePlus camera is not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's very usable, but just Samsung is just a little bit better in that category. Now the Note 9 does have some heft to it. A lot of people, when they pick it up for the very first time, like, oh, this phone's heavy. It's 7.09 ounces versus 6.24 ounces on the OnePlus, and that could be due to battery and also S Pen and just maybe just the overall just design of how it is. But overall, you know, both phones are just really good to feel in your hands. Very nice, just nice looking phones. They have some heft to it, and the Note is just a little bit thicker as well. So still, both really good phones. Also, the Note allows you to update or expand the memory, so it does have an SD card slot in the phone too, which is a big one for a lot of people. All right, so when it comes to colors, OnePlus, you can get you a black, red, and white one, while in America, you only have options for the lilac and also this blue color. I'm not sure if it has like a special name for it, but basically purple and blue. Overseas, they have some other colors like this copper color that looks really good. But for me, any phone with a glass back, I'm throwing a D-brand skin on it. I didn't put a D-brand skin on this phone yet because I wanted to show you the colors and how it looks and the fingerprints. But on the OnePlus, I routinely keep my D-brand skin on there. Any phone with glass backing is just, it gets scratched up, just the slipperiness and all those things. And so a D-brand skin to me is just required for any glass phones. So overall, I guess I kind of went through specs, very spec heavy. I guess we can just talk about usage a little bit here. For me, OnePlus, the software, the OS is just so light and so buttery smooth that it reminds me of like CyanogenMod back in the day. It reminds me that I'm like using a ROM, and I think they do Android better than Samsung. Samsung gets a lot of rap from the TouchWiz days, but actually with this OS, it's a lot better than it used to be. Not perfect, but I do like what Samsung is doing, allowing you to add themes and customize things a little bit more and not so much bloatware. But overall usage, I do like OnePlus's operating system a lot better, and I just like how it just moves throughout the OS better. Now, on the features side of things, I do like Samsung. This features is just a featured pack phone, has a lot more things going on. Like I said, it has the S Pen, which I don't use it often, but when I do pull the S Pen out and actually use it a little bit, it does give you a lot of cool features and a lot of cool things. Writing notes is actually really nice. The screen off memo, which I actually like. So when the screen is off, you just pull the S Pen out and you can start writing. So if you need to write something down really fast, you can do that right here when someone tells you something like really quickly. So you don't have to like unlock the phone and do all these things. Both phones have face to unlock, while Samsung has the iris to unlock. It works at night when the screen is off and everything's dim. It actually has night vision where it can see your irises and lets you in your phone. OnePlus actually just brightens the screen up super bright, and a couple times while I was in the movie theater, I tried to do that, and it got too bright, and it just like was kind of annoying, and it unlocked my phone, but it just does this huge floodlight in your face. Both phones do have the fingerprint scanners on the back, which both are extremely fast fingerprint scanners, and that's kind of the ideal way for me to get into the devices. Also, Samsung, as far as another feature that I really like, is the always-on display. I sort of forgot about always-on display with the OnePlus, but using it for so long. But the always-on display is something that I like, that I always have. I can always see what's happening on my screen at all times, versus here where I have no always-on display. There is a There's a notification light that kicks on, which does help, but I like to actually see what notifications are down there too. So is it worth more money? Is it worth paying the extra hundreds of dollars for one of these phones? Is it worth paying that much money for a Note, or do I recommend going with OnePlus? For me personally, I rather have the OnePlus phone. But there's a couple things with the OnePlus phone that you have to know. Every 6 months, OnePlus releases a new phone. They're gonna release the 6T probably holiday season, and from there you're gonna see upgrades and things like that, while Samsung releases the Note once a year, and usually it's not really a big change, but it's enough changes to kind of hold you over. And also, I just like the lighter OS. It's a lot smoother in my opinion, but if you're a person that is power hungry, a power user, 512 gigabytes on board, and also it has that really good camera, really good video, audio is really good. And both phones are giving you a headphone jack too, which is nice. But if you want the latest and greatest, and maybe you don't upgrade every year, but maybe you upgrade every 2 or 3 years, then I would say the Note 9. Even though they're not gonna get like Android's latest upgrade as far as software, I think Samsung does a pretty good job at giving you a lot of features that can hold you over with the phone, and they compete directly with Apple. So if Apple releases an update to their Animoji, I'm sure Samsung will have AR emojis with an update. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. But Samsung phones are for the power hungry users, business professionals, people that are always on the go, 4,000 milliamp battery, while the OnePlus is for people who may not create media with their phone, but consume media with the phone. It does everything decently well. A decent camera, I'd say it's a decent build, albeit you're missing some features, but overall, I am extremely happy with the OnePlus phone, and at that price, starting at $529, you really can't go wrong versus Samsung's phone starting at $1,000. Whew. Anyways, guys, right, wrong, disagree, you wanna argue, leave it down below in the comments. I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and this was a comparison between the Note 9 and the OnePlus 6. Take care, guys.